Okay, puppy, cheer up, don't worry. Today I'm going to show you how to make okra or Bindhi Massala. Welcome to Garam Khana with your host Chandradat. In today's session, in an attempt to promote local Jamaican food, I'm showing you Bindhi Massala. And if your reaction is you have no idea from Jamaica or the West Indies or West Africa what Bindhi is, you do. It's Ochro. It's Ochro or ladyfingers or okra. And today, surprise, we're going to curry it, but not in Indian style, in Pakistani style. So we're going to steam this and immerse it in tomatoes. We're going to immerse it in tomatoes. And the tomatoes will comprise our usual suspect of ingredients. Our usual suspect of ingredients at the beginning. Onion, garlic, pepper, that will be sauteed in the beginning with my special spices. And if we go and zoom into that special spice mixture, let's see what we find. You'll see some leaves, and they're bay leaves. You'll see a star seed, star anise. I can't put more than one. It's very potent and robust. You'll see cinnamon bark or cassia stick. You will see cumin or jeera. You will see dhania seeds or coriander seeds. And this is actually a base for garam masala, but we'll be frying that in the beginning. Then you'll see our live set of spices. So we have turmeric powder, we have black pepper and salt that will come in the initial process. I'll be layering my salt and black pepper in increments. We have the red powder, which is mirch or chili. And this is not very hot. It's not as hot as Scotch bonnet. We have hing or asafoetida. And for those in Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad, especially the Hindus and the Muslims, and superstitious people who are scared of obia, you will know of this spice because it's often used to get rid of spirits. And it's even used in cooking because it's very strong and it is a replacement for onions and garlic, especially in Jain cooking from the Indian subcontinent. So that's some hing that we're cooking with, very strong. It's highly recommended as sattvic food in Hindu culture and Buddhist culture. Then we go across and we see some coriander powder. We see some roasted garam masala, which will comprise several spices that were roasted and then ground. And we see something that is looking like a jelly, and it is. That's my tamarind jelly. I am going to use tamarind to create an almost citrus-like flavor. And whilst India makes Bindhi Masala with lime juice, a lot of Pakistanis try to make it with tamarind. When I lived in England, I frequented in central London Anwar's restaurant. And the owner of Anwar's told me the reason he captured me as a customer was he fooled me thinking that there was an elite array of spices. But he said the ingredient that I never figured out was his usage of imli or tamarind. So today, inspired by Anwar, I'm going to try to make his recipe perhaps 20 odd years or 15 years after the last time I saw him. Which is why I'll be using Pakistani ingredients today, not Indian. In tribute of my favorite Pakistani restaurants in England, Anwar's and Ravi Kebab, I'll be using shan vegetable masala. So let's go to the cooking process. And what you're seeing is that in a frying pan or wok, I have placed some okra. And I'm going to toast or gently fry this okra for about 5 or 10 minutes. I do not want it to be golden brown. I just want it to turn dark green and slightly get a little char. And I'll be taking it out of the pot. If there's any oil that remains, let me show you. If there's any oil that remains in the pot, that is not a problem. The oil that remains in the pot after taking the okra out will be used for making the mixing of the spices or the curry. It will be used in the chunk process. Now a lot of people are asking me right now, why do I even have to gently stir fry the okra? What's the purpose of that? Couldn't we just cook it like a steaming process or a stew? Here's the answer. Two reasons. By gently stir frying the okra, we get rid of the sliminess of the okra. And by getting rid of the sliminess, it becomes a more turgid or strong or robust vegetable that could then be better tasted in a curry. That's one process, one reason why. The other reason why is by pre-frying it, we also change the color of the okra and we kind of make it a little bit crispy so that aesthetically it will change its color when it's further immersed in our spices. But the main reason is to get rid of the slime. You cannot have slime in a curry. So we're trying to get rid of that sliminess that we expect when West Indians put okra with fish, when West Indians put okra in stews or let us say soups. But in this Pakistani method, we don't really want the slime. So as my jeera or cumin is sizzling and we can see the cassia stick moving around, it's time to add my piaz or onion. And it is going to cook in about a minute. It's going to turn golden brown because luckily we have our heat on medium to high and our cumin is in there as well. Now, people are asking me, what kind of oil do I suggest cooking Indian food with? There's a lot of oils you can use, not olive oil though. You could use canola oil, you could use vegetable oil, you could use ghee, which is Indian clarified butter, but that is very high in fat content. And whilst the Punjabis tend to use a lot of ghee, I tend to avoid it. So it has to do with your cultural or personal preference. I also use in the Caribbean a lot of coconut oil. Meanwhile, a lot of people will ask me, what about replacing the Indian masalas with Trinidadian, Guyanese, Jamaican masalas? They might not be familiar with all of these products, and you could do that as well. You can easily replace them with a generic West Indian masala. But in goes my turmeric. Definitely my turmeric goes in. Then I put my mirch. So the mirch is actually like the chili. I'm going to put some fresh chili and garlic. Now, the chili that I have used is not Thai chili. Thai chili is ridiculously hot. I don't ever suggest anyone to use Thai chili. By no means should we be using Thai chili. Then, I'm going to just add a little bit of salt to extract some moisture from the onion. Look at that. I'm going to put some black pepper. And I believe using black pepper and salt in layers is a lot better for flavor. Now that my onion is doing well, I'm going to put a little coriander powder. I don't want my masalas to burn, so it's high time I bring in my tomatoes. What the tomatoes will do is tomatoes will give off their own moisture or water. And before I do that, I introduce to you the Shan product. And Shan is a very good mix. This is very good for making chana masala, dal masala, pav bhaji, or anything vegetarian. So this has its own blend of spices. I recommend that you could try this. So each of these spices I had was 1 chamach or 1 teaspoon. But what I've basically done is I've complemented that by adding my Shan mix. I've added about 2 teaspoons of Shan mix. And the Shan mix will have a lot of the spices that I use, but kind of put together really well. Now comes in my tomatoes. And I'm going to make sure it's well coated. You don't want anything burning. You look to the base of the pot. You see that nothing is burning. I'm not going to add water. I'm just going to cover this. To blend up all the ingredients. The reason for this is because I want it to look very aesthetically pleasing. I want it to look like restaurant style food. And also I have some spices in there that they're currently whole, like the cassia stick, like the bay leaf. And if we were using curry pillai, that as well. So I want those leaves to blend up. And it's therefore really important for me to make this into a paste. Now some people don't like that. Some people would have chopped up their tomatoes really small and they would wait for the tomatoes to be kind of pulverized, but I'm not going to do that. The meal is virtually done and it will only take about 1 or 2 minutes again to reconstitute everything. So I want to put this on a slow simmer for less than maybe 10 minutes. We could put it for about 10 or 15 minutes and we'll be good. I'm going to add my salt, black pepper, if we had yogurt, we could add yogurt to it so that it's richer. Some people might try coconut milk if you're in Jamaica, but I'm going to leave it like this because I don't really like mine with heavy cream or yogurt. So we're just going to cover this, put it on simmer for a very short while, and we're going to taste it.